Hello, gamers. Look, I know why you're here. You want to know a berserker guide. How to be a good berserker, how to be the best berserker, and so on. So I'll be telling you the good weapon progression, and how to be a good berserk. But first off, I have to start with some things. Berserker is not as OP as it is as the old videos show. Since the admins have rolled out a strength nerf a really long time ago, Berserker does a little bit less damage. So be warned about that. But other than that, let's start the video. A great place to start with Berserker is you want to turn back and collect as many fairy souls as you can. But you're wondering, wait, Berserker doesn't need that much HP or defense, your whole point is damage. That's true, but also fairy souls gives 1 strength per 5, so yeah, they're unescapable. You need them for every single class. So that should be your first step, collecting all fairy souls or as many as you can. And then is when you can actually start going. For now, things like strong dragon armor, young dragon armor. If you can, get superior, because that's obviously the best. But remember, the more stars, the better. I wish I could show you, but auction house is actually closed right now. So yeah, dupers, I hate them. So that should carry you from floors 1 through 3. By that time, once you be floor 3, I would recommend buying a full adaptive set. Adaptive armor is really underrated for Berserker class as it gives some decent amount of strength and damage, and some decent living stats. For future editing ambush here. So I forgot to mention pets, and sorry about that again. I keep forgetting something in these guide videos, so I'm making quick stops here. So while this is happening, I'm gonna quickly mention the pet. From floors 0 or as entrance floor into floor 3, just by Epic British Skeleton Pet. It might seem fairly expensive for new players, but honestly, it's way too underrated and way too good for its price. It's like 500k on auction house to get it. Reforge them to pure for the better damage. And then by that should carry you from floor 3 to floor 4. And then floor 5, you have 2 options here. Buy a carry and get Shadow Assassin, or get Frozen Blaze. Frozen Blaze is a good set, and as you can see that person, it's, well, just overpowered, and it somehow still manages to stay relevant, completely defying every single version of power creep there is. So Frozen Blaze is good, and it's decent, but it won't last you till floor 7. Floor 6, Shadow Assassin and Frozen Blaze should be good, but I would recommend switching out 1 or 2 pieces for Necromancer Lord, just for that little bit of survivability. Picture editing ambush here again. So, yeah, the pet here will probably be the same. But in this case, the Wither Skeleton should be legendary pet. And make sure you buy one with the dwarf item called the Dwarf Turtle Shellmet. Makes you immune to all knockback and is way too overpowered. Doesn't matter how much damage you do if you're being flung around like a ragdoll. So basically, get the Dwarf Turtle Shellmet with a legendary Wither Skeleton pet. Also, let's touch on Wither Skeleton pet is so OP. Buy it. And if that's too expensive, get like a Megalodon pet as high level that you possibly can. So that way you get some strength and you get some ferocity. Ferocity is also pretty good in this, so good luck. But if you're surviving just fine, just stick with your Shadow Assassin or Frozen Blaze. Also, if you want, you can really swap out most of the pieces for a golden head. Personally, I like the Necron helmet better. And like for floor 7, I like the Necron helmet better. Mainly because it's not as like expensive as a golden Necron head, and it's still decently good. And I can use it outside of dungeons without switching it 24/7. So yeah, Necron helmet is good. Now floor 7, the big boy floor 7. Floor 7 is when it gets really expensive. You want a set like mine. As many choices as you can. You want Necron chestplate, Necron leggings, and then Necron smack sword boots. Necron boots actually give more crit damage than Necron, but Necron gives more overall damage, so I would still recommend going for Necron. Also, if you want, instead of getting a Necron helmet, go for a golden Necron head, or even better, a diamond Necron head. Pure is actually not the best reforged. It's actually something called Ancient. It unlocks by floor 6, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, wait, it's unlocked by 4-7, sorry. But Ancient gives more general stats than Pure. I'm just way too broke to afford Pure, Ancient, so, yeah. If you really want, if you're going to lowball people, you might as well stick with your Frozen Blaze. And if you're not, if you're going for a full setup, go for a Necron with either a gold Necron head or just normal Necron helmet. And for weapons, and for this one, get a legendary Wither Skeleton with Dwarf Trail Summit. It's nice and expensive, but it's completely worth it. Extra damage against Withers and its touch, which gives a 200% damage and does not stack, by the way. But that's still doubling your damage in DPS over 5 seconds, so, yeah, get it. Oh, and if you're using Frozen Blaze, make sure to get the Blaze pet with specifically the legendary variant, because that buffs Blaze armor by 40%. And if you're gonna use Frozen Blaze, get maxed out Blaze Rod collection, but that might be a little bit hard because now we have Crimson out and I got rid of the old Blazes and they're not as easy to farm. So, good luck once again. From floor 1 to the good overall weapon is something called the Flower of Truth, if I could find that. As shown over here, the Flower of Truth is a good weapon, and you can use it up to 10 times, and it does your melee damage as almost like a right-click damage, like basically melee archer. Great for clearing, but I wouldn't recommend it for boss fights. For boss fights, I would recommend something called the Livid Dagger. It does almost the exact same thing as Flower of Truth, except it gives 100 attack speed, practically doubling your damage. And that should go a really long way. And for floor 6, if you want to really go for it, you can go for either a Shadow Fury or a Giant Sword. Put one for all on them, and for Shadow Fury, get Warped and Recommit. Giant Fury, get Fabled and Recommit. And make sure to put one for all and get as many stars as you can on them. Floor 7 is a really tricky situation. Stick with your current setup and with Necron armor, or you could go completely berserker and get a Valkyrie or a Scylla. Scylla's for crit damage, obviously, and Valkyrie's for strength. So if you want, you can do that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I can help with something, and bye-bye.